George Beerhalter is Director of Federal Sales at Icertis. Welcome. It's great to have you here, George. What makes for a good public-private partnership between industry and government? And what would you like to see the government do, and what can you do in return to foster that exchange?
Yeah, great question. I think the biggest thing is the innovation that's happening right now in the private sector. It really needs to be transformed into the public sector as well. Technology is moving at the speed of light and quicker than any time before, and it's more prevalent. So what we want to see in the public sector is how can they acquire this technology to ultimately help either the warfighter or the taxpayer. So that's what we're looking to help with industry and making sure that they can acquire and procure those technologies.
Is it your sense that that's getting easier with some of the techniques that the department is using?
Yeah, a lot of the recent executive orders are creating efficiencies to make that happen. We're seeing that GSA with the FedRAMP to make sure that technology providers can get through the FedRAMP process earlier and handle a lot of that sensitive data. So we're seeing strides in that, and it's very beneficial.
What would you like to see moving forward? What's something that government could do that would help themselves to get that technology in faster, do you think?
I think they first need to look at the correct technology that can be put in place to acquire that technology. And that's what we're seeing, because sometimes solicitations could take 12 to 18 months just to develop. And then it's going to be another 12 to 18 months to actually procure that. So how do we speed up that acquisition life cycle so that the technology can get to either the warfighter or help the nation with taxpayers?
Is the government getting better at telling you what they need rather than giving you a list of requirements? That's something that industry's talked about for a long time.
Yeah, I think the new leaders that you see going into these agencies, whether they either crossed over from private and getting into public sector, you're seeing more visionary leaders. And with that, it's coming that a true vision of the technology space. Obviously, with the generation of leaders that are up and coming, they had technology growing up. So they see that vision of technology easing the day-to-day lives of these employees.
Yeah. What's the biggest thing that you think industry can do to let agencies know what they have and how it can benefit them, and maybe even how to rapidly acquire that technology?
I think it's telling success stories of private companies and saying, this is how we help them with their return on investment. They do the same thing, but actually the government's a lot more structured, so it should be easier to adapt that new technology because there's an actual play for it. So,
how would you advise agencies to judge success in whether they're integrating technology, new technology, faster into their stacks?
I think success would be driven on the speed of adoption and the efficiency that the government agencies will gain from it.
Mm-hmm. How will you expect to track this over time? What will you watch to see that agencies are moving in a direction that you think is beneficial to them, or maybe headed in a direction that's not going to help them as much?
Yeah, I think tracking it is really turning, one thing that we are proud of is we're turning all contracts that were previously static documents and in file cabins actually into insights and actionable insights, so that you can see full transparency on what's going on in the business, where your shortcomings are, and how moving forward you can address those shortcomings to make it gain efficiency throughout the whole life cycle.
George, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.